I'm gonna watch the stream on Twitch to check for sound and see how it goes. We have sound, yay. Alright, Dementia Radio now, and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast, brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
I'll try not to be too loud because you have a migraine.
No, you be loud so the people can hear you. I can turn you down on my end. Yes, I do have a migraine. I came this close to canceling the show this evening, but as I told Luke, I took all the pills and multiple naps, and I'm feeling better. Not good, but better. Still hurts like a bitch right here. This is my fancy dancy ice pack holder. It's got little things inside with little ice packs so that you can put it where the pain is. So yeah, highly recommend one of these if you're a migraine sufferer. But all right, so welcome to episode 764 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, February 6th, 2025. Subject of this week's title of this week's show is Violent Driving. And let's do the catch-up thing, shall we?
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
No, he's right.
Thank you for not bailing. I did not want to do this show alone this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been up to?
Well, I had a pretty busy week. I spent a bunch of time in Irvine with Kalani. We went to Disneyland on Saturday, and we got to eat at a restaurant called the Blue Bayou, which is interesting because it's the restaurant that's actually in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Oh,
neat. So basically, it's like there's the area where everyone gets on the boats, and the boats kind of start down like this kind of river pathway to where they finally lead to the ride actually beginning. This kind of bayou-looking area, and so there's like a restaurant in there that looks like the decor is meant to look like the backyard of some, stately southern, place, and it's got a lot of high-end food. And I have never eaten there ever, and neither had Kalani. So a friend of hers managed to get a reservation there, and then she gave the reservation to us so that we could actually eat at that place for the first time. And they had some really good food. I had some chicken gumbo and a filet mignon. I don't eat steak very often, but that was really good. So that was a thing.
If there was ever a time, like the one time you get to go to that restaurant.
Yeah. So I went to a sleep study. I had to go to some place in Pasadena and spend the night there and have them hook 1,000,000 wires up to me so that they could monitor me while I'm sleeping, basically to determine whether or not I have sleep apnea. And the technician basically said, like, yeah, you pretty much do, but he's not the doctor to make the determinations or do whatever, so he's going to send that information off to the pulmonary specialist, and I got to go meet up with that guy and then figure out what's next. So I probably got to go do another sleep study where, they're going to hook me up to a sleep apnea machine, and I'll have to, see how I sleep through the night using that thing, and then after that, I'll probably end up getting one and have to, use it, so yippee.
I've been considering going for a sleep study because I'm pretty sure I also have sleep apnea, but I know they hook you up to 1,000,000 wires. What do they do for those of us who have to get up to pee 7 or 8 times a night?
Well, that was the thing, is the guy told me, that if I needed to, to pee in the middle of the night, because, there's, monitors watching and cameras and stuff. So he said, that if I had to pee, that I should, sit up in the bed and just kind of, turn sideways and be sitting up over the edge of the bed. And then he would see in the monitor that I was sitting up. So then he would come in and figure out and do whatever thing he needed to do to, disconnect me enough from the thing so that I could go use the bathroom and stuff. So basically, once he told me that, I just kind of said to myself, like, okay, I think I'm just going to will myself into not going to the bathroom all night, because that sounds like a huge hassle. I mean, I usually have to get up to go to the bathroom like 2 or 3 times a night. But, I just decided, like, no, I'm going to just, go for it. And luckily for me, that worked out. So yeah. So I got through the whole, like, I showed up at 8. I went to sleep around, I don't know, between 9 and 9:30, and they woke me up around like 4:30 in the morning. So, and then I had to drive home. So like the whole past week or so, my sleep schedule has more or less been like the sleep schedule of normal people, or a lot closer to normal than I usually do. And then I ended up, after that, I mean, I went back to Burbank for a little while, but then I drove back out to Irvine because because Kalani and I went to see Patton Oswalt at the Irvine Improv, and man, that was awesome and hilarious. And I don't know if I should save the story about the show until later, just because we want to, I don't want to like front load the show with me talking about it or whatever. But
it's up to you.
Up
to you.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll tell the story in full later, just because I don't have much to talk about with this song. So I'll just save that story for my segment of the show.
Okay.
Let's see. I went to the dentist and I got a crown put in. I went to see the movie Dogman, which was a lot of fun. It's yeah, just
Hey, remember when we were talking about how Transformers 1 had no advertising whatsoever to go along with it?
Yeah.
I am seeing so many ads for Dogman. It is all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's DreamWorks for you. I mean, the movie's good, so, I can say that. I can say that for it, but
good.
Yeah. But yeah, and then there's other things I'll get into during the funny music news. But for right now, what have you been up to the past week?
Well, last weekend I filmed a web series, or at least part of one. We have to do more filming later with my acting teacher and a bunch of students from the class. This was actually a web series class that we took almost a year ago, actually, where we came up with a story and my teacher wrote it and then we worked on it in class, and then the plan was to film it. Well, we're finally getting around to filming it. So I play a cameraman who follows a reporter around interviewing a dysfunctional family, and I am completely obsessed with the woman who plays the reporter, migraine brain. And so like one of the things in the scene is like she asked me how she looks because they're about to go on the air, and I like freeze thinking she's fishing for a compliment, and I whip out this love poem that I wrote to her and say the poem to her. And so it's a pretty funny role. And like there was one scene where the reporter was talking to the woman who owns the house, and I didn't have any lines. I was just standing there. So I kind of leaned over to the actress who was playing the reporter, and I'm like, do you mind if I sniff you during this scene? Because I think that would be really funny. And she started laughing. She's like, yeah, do it. So like we didn't even tell like my teacher or anything we were going to do it. She's just in the middle of her lines, and I just kind of leaned over like, I'm like, yeah. So it should come out pretty funny. I have no idea when it's going to be available, but when it is, I will let you all know. I did not see Dogman, but I did see Wolfman. That was good. And I released the January episode of The Insider the other day. For those of you who, if you're not subscribed to the RSS feed, you can listen to the show right at devospice.com. Just go to the non-music link, and there's a link to the podcasts, and you can find all my podcasts there. All right, that's about all I got in me for right now. So let's get into some music. Here is first song of the week, new one by Joe J. Thomas, 50 Ways to Love Your Lever.
I'll help you with your autosexuality. Choking your chicken is as simple as can be. Sit back, relax, undo that zipper easily. There must be 50 ways to love your lever. Don't look at me as if my words are being rude. A chat about your skin flute's bound to get a little crude. You sure don't wanna be a nasty little incel dude. There must be 50 ways to love your lever. 50 ways to love your lever. You just slip out your slong Kong, moving your handstand. Ain't playing with no toy, Roy. Just set your junk free. Oh, you give it a touch, Gus. In the under the butternut hut, just grab what you see, Lee, and set your junk free. Yank on the crank, Frank. Pull on the pud, Judd. Grab hold of the tool, fool. Just set your junk free. Gonna bust a big nut, Chuck. Shift into that beef clutch. Well, beat on the meat, Pete, and set your junk free. She said, I hope you see the method in my way. On your way out, there's a lady who'd be glad to take your pay. And I said, thank you, Dr. Ruth. But can you tell me more about the 50 ways? She said, why don't you go home and take it in your hands? It'll be a big relief to all the pressure in your glands. And as I walked out, I knew I could be the much bigger man who knows the 50 ways to love your lever. 50 ways to love your lever. You just slip out your schlong Kong, moving your handstand. Ain't playing with no toy, Roy. Just set your junk free. Oh, you give it a touch, Gus. In the underbutternut hut, just grab what you see, Lee, and set your junk free. Yank on the crank, Frank. Pull on the pud, Judd. Grab hold of the tool, fool. Just set your junk free. Gonna bust a big nut, Chuck. Shift into that beef clutch. Well, beat on the meat, Pete, and set your junk free.
I'm here with Joe J. Thomas. How you doing, Joe?
I'm okay in the fiery west. How are you in the frozen east?
It's starting to thaw a little bit. We got above zero the other day, so that was good. And we're inching close to freezing now. We're in the low 30s, so we're progress has been made. I don't know which is worse. I imagine being on fire is worse because it's much more destructive, I guess.
That's fire is one of the things you can't acclimatize to.
That's true. Yeah.
It's really hard.
So tell us about loving your lever.
Loving your lever. Well, okay. So, I was listening to. Do you know spoonerisms?
Yes.
Where you flip the beginning. I was listening to an old recording of Rendersilla, which is Cinderella as all spoonerisms.
Okay.
If you haven't heard it, it's hilarious.
I have not. I've heard a few spoonerism recordings. I know Dr. Demento's played a few, but I have not heard that one.
Yeah. The guy who does it I think he used to be on Hee Haw, and he just is flawless. He's my favorite line from it is when she was leaving the Bancy Falls, she slopped her dripper. Which means she dropped her slipper. So so I had that running through my head, and then I heard 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, and I watched an interview with Paul Simon, and he said, oh yeah, I wrote that song because I was teaching my kid, who I think was like 6 or 7, about rhyme schemes. And I'm like, is this a song for a kid? Because the guy's like cheating on his wife and getting advice on how to leave her. So anyway, the spoonerism thing popped into my head, and I thought, oh, somebody's written this. And I searched for it.
Nope.
I haven't. And I was also inspired by the the Boobles, who have been on the FuMP
Mhm.
quite a bit, with their list of things. So I wanted a list of male euphemisms, so to speak.
Yeah, and I love that I love the idea of using a spoonerism to come up with a parody idea, because this one in particular, like, works really well. It's not, they're not all going to work this well, but this one in particular, as soon as it came through, I was like, oh, that's genius.
Yeah, so sometimes two neurons just hit each other in my head, and
And we know what
my
we're
my
doing
wife thinks
now.
my wife thinks I'm the equivalent of an orange cat. I don't really have much going on up here, but every once in a while a spark happens.
And now you need to be in the other room now.
Go away. Yeah. This is one song she's like, you actually gonna publish this? Like, yeah, why not? What? I don't care. I'm 61 years old. How many years do I have left to publish shit like this?
Right? I mean, who cares, right?
I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first song with a list of masturbation euphemisms either, so that's an art that goes back a long time.
I would bet, you probably know, I would bet that there are other songs with masturbation euphemisms.
Oh, lots of them, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorites was the Foreman did a song in the 90s called Fire in the Surgeon General, after the Surgeon General was fired for talking about masturbation in class, and firing the Surgeon General became a euphemism for masturbation. And I was like, that's fantastic.
Now that I'll have to look up. Yeah.
That's a great song. And Henry Phillips has a song that's also just a list of euphemisms. Crap, I'm blanking on its name. Let me Google it really quick. I'm not going to find it. Oh well.
Yeah.
But look it
I'll
up.
find
It's really funny. It's on one of his albums. I'll think of it right after we get off the interview, because that's how my brain works.
My usual disclaimer, I will apologize in advance to Paul Simon and possibly Art Garfunkel, because I don't think Garfunkel was on this one, but I think it was a Simon bit.
Oh, okay. So what else is going on with you that you can talk about? I know.
Absolutely not. Well, okay, so the reason I'm pre-recorded is because you remember a couple of years, well, it's been a bunch of years now. I wrote a song called Dr. Butt Doctor. So
yes,
I've got a colonoscopy appointment coming up. So we'll have to replay that to ease my pain.
Yeah. Oh, the song. Okay. Yes. I thought you were going to send me the video of the colonoscopy. And
I don't know. I would not wish that on anybody. Well, okay. There's a couple people I would wish that on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have their emails.
Well,
but other than that, I've actually been writing other songs that are not necessarily funny, but humorous. So we'll see if they fly. I'll probably just throw those in the sideshow instead. I just wrote one about pointillism.
Oh, cool.
So bizarre. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. So are you moving away from comedy in the hopes of making money? Is that what's happening here?
No, I signed up for Musora, which is a music learning site, and they have
I think we
piano,
talked
voice,
about that.
drums,
Yeah.
and guitar. And I've been doing this voice thing where every week somebody suggests a song, but now they've got one where every month somebody suggests a theme and you write a song. And so I've actually composed a song, which is brand new for me, and about pointillism, which is, it's very repetitive, which is kind of lends itself to pointillism anyway. So
Yeah.
it's staccato pointillism
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
That's all.
All right. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
The usual, joesdump.com. And if you want to know about my voiceover career and what's going on with that, it's joeactor.com.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Good luck with your colonoscopy. And
I hope it warms up and cools off over here.
Yeah. we could send the snow to California to put out the fire. That's what we could do.
I will take it.
All right, talk to you later, dude.
Bye.
The world's longest running comedy music concert series is back.
So this song is about following your dreams and never giving up. Yay! It's also about the Hulk.
MarsCon 2025 is taking place March 7th through 9th at the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Mall of America Hotel in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Can I get a celebratory woo? Woo! Woo! Thank you.
This year's event will have performances by Worm Quartet, Devo Spice, The Great Luke Ski, Insane Ian, Carrie Dalby, Meow Mean, Steve Goody, Nuclear Bubble Wrap, The Odd Ditties, Holy Bong Water, Regdar and the Fighters, Primordial Pouch, and this year's comedy music guests of honor, sponsored by Needle Juice Records, John S. Hall and Dog Bowl of King Missile Dogfly Religion.
I don't go to recitals anymore because my hearing is too sensitive, and I don't go to art galleries anymore because there are people there, and I can't deal with people.
Registration for a weekend badge is $55 until January 31st. After that, it'll be $70 at the door. To pre-register and for more info on MarsCon, visit marscon.org.
Please continue to hold. Your comedy music will be with you shortly.
You are currently the 27th caller in line.
But whether you're attending or not, you can still help out by ordering the MarsCon 2025 Comedy Music Fundraiser album. Available as an MP3 download for just $30. It's just under 4 hours of highlights from all of the live concerts of MarsCon 2024.
Guys like prop comedy? Well, I don't. Next track.
This year's album includes comedy music by MarsCon 2024's music guest of honor, Andy Merrill, also known as Brack.
This is what it sounds like when dogs cry. Ah, oh my gosh! Oh my God! You'll give me bread.
If you'd like to hear a free 30-minute preview of the collection, there's a link to download that at our website.
I need moisture. Can I get a moisture?
Moisture.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
You can order and download the album right now from the shop page at marsconcomedy.com.
These are all dumb parody ideas, and that's the point. It's supposed to be dumb. We're dumb for doing them. You're dumb for being here. Our next contestant.
Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and we hope to see you all at MarsCon 2025.
We did it, everybody! We're going to the moon!
Last year I took my pants off. This is as close as you're getting.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, Weird Al Yankovic has teased that he is working on a jukebox musical during his appearance on the Something Burning podcast last week. There are no further details. This was not an official announcement or anything, but Al joked that it should be ready in about 10 years. So look for that in the coming decade or so. And that's all the news I got. So, Luke, you got MarsCon?
My assumption about this jukebox musical is that, I mean, this is me just completely guessing. I'd kind of assume that all the songs in it are going to be his originals and none of the parodies.
Probably for legal reasons, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, and I'm sure that he'll write at least one new song for it, so that there could be a song eligible for the Tony Awards. So if Al won a Tony, he would have a Grammy and a Tony. Does he have an Emmy? Did Al ever win an Emmy?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And he obviously hasn't won an Oscar, except for... Anyway. So, let's... oh, that's what it... Okay. So, I posted this all over my interwebs earlier today, but I will read it again here for those who missed it. As soon as I can pull up the thing. So yeah, I posted the following message earlier today. A message from Luke Ski to the MarsCon and comedy music community. Last month, my girlfriend Kalani was diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. She will have reconstructive breast surgery on March 6th to remove the cancer. This was the soonest surgery date available and can't be delayed to make sure the cancer does not progress further. Unfortunately, her family lives out of state and she will need me to be her caretaker during her surgery and the weeks of recovery following. Therefore, I will not be attending or performing at MarsCon 2025. Filling in for my concert slot will be TikTok sensation and cheerwine enthusiast Ross Childs, who I'm sure will do a hilarious set as he has always done at MarsCon. This will be the 22nd year of the MarsCon comedy music track, and I have every confidence in the performers, John Allen and his sound crew, the Table 27 volunteers, the Dementia Radio / Twitch streaming team, the con staff, and the audience to pull off another amazing year of funny music concerts. I will be watching on Twitch and texting the performers my commentary to read on stage throughout the weekend. Have a great time, and know that I will be with you all in spirit. Luke Ski, chair of the MarsCon comedy music track. So that's that. I am not going to be changing the promos, the audio or video promos, because I have other things to do in my life. So the world will just have to deal with the fact that my name is in that promo and Ross's is not.
I might be able to quickly update the video just to overdub me, just say Ross Childs over if you want me to do that. At least for here.
If you really want to, sure. So yeah, so that is what is going on in my life. So I am, as the head of the comedy music track, I am going to continue to work on, certain things behind the scenes leading up to it to make sure that I'm fulfilling, my role as the track chair. But I kind of gave a heads up to a whole bunch of other people involved, the performers and such, a week or two ago when I first figured out that there was a decent chance I wasn't going to be able to make it. And basically I was holding out until yesterday because, basically we were hoping maybe there might be some kind of cancellation in the surgeon's schedules so that, maybe we could have gotten her in earlier and then it would have allowed me to still make it to MarsCon. But basically, if nothing had changed by the end of the day yesterday, then it was pretty much a set in stone thing that everything was going to go down on March 6th, so I would, she needs me to be there. So yeah. Anyway, the point was, I gave people heads up so that many of the people involved are already kind of stepping up to, help run things to make sure that everything that all the aspects of MarsCon that are typically taken care of because I'm actually there doing them myself to make sure that those things all get taken care of. So, a very awesome set of people involved for all that. So things, I thoroughly expect it's still going to be another awesome, fun year. I hate the fact that I am, missing Worm Quartet and Devo Spice, who haven't been there, and, Devo hasn't been there in 5 years, and Shoebox is even longer. So that stinks. I had to talk to Alexandra on the phone the other day and explain to her what was going on, and it went better than expected, but, she's upset too because, I only get to hang out with her, 2-3 times a year tops, and she absolutely loves MarsCon, and she's still going to be performing as Meow Meme and stuff, but, it's, it sucks. Anyway, so that is the deal. So, in other MarsCon related things that I always say, here's the update on the fundraiser. The amount we have raised thus far is $537.27. Which is 52% of the way towards our initial goal with 29 days until MarsCon. So if you want to help all those people who are going to be at MarsCon, who are in the position of having to pay for their hotel rooms, you can go buy the fundraiser album. That's 4 hours or nearly 4 hours of live concert excerpts from MarsCon 2024 for only $30. You can check it out at the shop page at MarsConComedy.com. We also have past year's fundraisers, which you can buy individually for $30 per collection, or you can get all 17 or so collections dating all the way back to 2007 for a bundle price of $200, which is like 70 hours of comedy music. It's for like less than half the price or something. So anyway, there's also a free 30-minute preview of the fundraiser if you need some convincing. You can find that at tinyurl.com/MarsCon2025 fundraiser preview. Or you can find it at the link at the website of MarsConComedy.com. And also there are links to our promos, the audio promo and video promo. If anybody's got a streaming show or a podcast or whatever, and you would want to help us out by playing it, please do. So that is about it for that. Ross Childs, he's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing what craziness he gets up to, filling in for my concert slot on Saturday afternoon. So there we go.
I hope he shows up in a bowling shirt and does all of your material.
Well, I'm hoping that everybody shows up in a bowling shirt. It's like, wouldn't that be the ultimate tribute to me not being there? I mean, we already know Alex Ann has a shirt. We already know that Angie has a shirt. We know that Dr. Quinn has a shirt. It's like, how hard would it be for everybody there just to dress like me all weekend?
You could do like a real Slim Shady parody, the real Luke Ski.
Yeah. You could have your own I Am Spartacus moment, except I won't be there to be Spartacus. So anyway, that's it.
All right, tour dates. I'm gonna skip all the usual online stuff. They're all still happening, but yeah. On the 7th in Lee, Massachusetts, Drew Jacobs. On the 7th online, Carla Ulbrich. On the 8th in Oakland, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 8th in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. And on the 12th in Long Island City, New York, David W. Jacobson. And birthdays coming up on the 9th, Killy Dwyer. Happy birthday, Killy.
Hey, Killy.
All right, Luke, give us a quick intro, and we will listen to your song.
Hey, it's a song. Listen to it. Yay.
Here is White Kids Love Hip Hop, live at MarsCon 2024 by the Great Luke Ski featuring Andy Merrill.
White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop and disc jocks, go-karts and fist fights, getting drunk and butt and getting high like a pitch pipe. Are you an MC Chris type? A hip hop loving half pipe that just turned on your heart light? A Bunsen burger burp like get it art time, just from a boombox. Liberate the goondocks. Saw your cousin in a tube top, a busted nugget in a tube sock. It's Tupac, it's Big Pop, it's hip hop, and don't stop. I love that song, I love that groove, a mother thumper. Well, I can't help but move. So if you don't mind, if it's alright with you, I'm gonna get in the alert slide line just to prove that white kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop and Axel, tractors and Rambo, playing Unreal Tournament with infinite ammo, taggers and vandals and black socks and sandals, doing as many drugs as they can motherfucking handle, flipping school, freaking rules and flipping the bird, fast food cartoons after eating some herb, freaking them flirts, making them hurtle, it hurts, just a couple of nerds clocking the curbs, a couple of words about Manila eaters. Packing Peters and measured in millimeters. We don't talk in the theaters like with Siskel and Ebert. We bark bite and we listen to Weezer. White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop. White kids love hip hop. Ooh.
Man, there's nothing to do in this stupid town. Rope swings busted. Thinking cops always kicking me out of the park. Manager at the 7-Eleven always says, "Get off my curb, you did good for nothing." And the girls always know I'm a bad kisser, so they won't come anywhere near me. I don't know how many times I've been to TGIF. A kid can eat an onion bloom only so many times. Bowling's boring. The skating rink's been taken over by 12-year-olds. There ain't no good movies out. Blockbuster never has any good games in. I don't want to play Bombad Racing. I mean, what the heck is that? I'm sick of all my records, and every time I walk into the record store, I forget what I want to get. And then ain't nothing on TV, not a stupid thing. There ain't nothing to do except take naps and wait patiently for death. Kids love hip-hop. Why kids love hip-hop? Why kids love hip-hop? No bullshit.
Andy Merrill, everybody, is back! Oh my God!
And now my contractual obligation has ended.
So before we get to you and before I forget again, the song I was trying to think of during Joe J. Thomas's interview is called Jerkin' Around. It's very funny if you haven't heard it.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So, and let me just say for the record, I am really upset that I missed MarsCon last year because I would have loved to have joined you on stage for this when it happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so... Okay, well, just to cut to the chase and keep me from rambling, I'm just going to read the description from the FuMP, because all the information is there. So, on the 2003 album of nerdcore pioneer MC Chris, titled Knowing Is Half the Hassle, he did a track called White Kids Love Hip Hop, which featured his fellow Adult Swim voice acting star Andy Merrill doing the voice of his Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Cartoon Planet character Brack, delivering a rant about how he couldn't find anything fun to do in the town where he lives. Every year at the MarsCon Comedy Music Track, there is a concert called The Smackdown, where all of the acts that perform that weekend come back on stage to close the weekend by taking turns doing cover versions of their favorite comedy songs. I, the great Luke Ski, have a long bucket list of comedy songs I love that I would love to perform a cover version of someday at the Smackdown concert. Why Kids Love Hip Hop has been on my list for years, with the assumption that if I ever did it, the Brack part would have been played by me doing my impersonation of Brack, as I had done for my 1998 tribute song, Baby Got Brack. In 2024, we were fortunate enough to book Andy Merrill as the comedy music guest of honor at MarsCon. I was ecstatic. As I continued to work on plans for the event, I eventually got around to looking at my bucket list of potential cover songs so I could pick one to cover at the Smackdown. When my eyes came upon the title, White Kids Love Hip Hop, it hit me like a power band blast. I could cover White Kids Love Hip Hop and ask Andy Merrill himself to reprise his role as Brack for the rant at the end of the song. I asked him if he'd be willing to, and he said yes. And the audio record of that actually happening in real life is what this FuMP track is. After we performed it, Andy took his turn at the Smackdown and performed a couple of Weird Al covers to finish off the weekend. I reached out to both MC Chris and Andy Merrill to get their permission to post this live cover at the FuMP, and they both graciously said yes. So many thanks to both of them. You both have been great inspirations to me, and have always been nice to me, which means a lot to this middle-aged fanboy. I admit I do trip up a few of the lyrics in my performance, but I still think it went great, and it's one of my all-time favorite MarsCon memories that I wanted to share with everybody here at the FuMP. The music for this track is by Professor Shy Guy, who also did the music for Lower Decks Keep It Movin', and the speed at which he knocked that out was like amazing. He did such a great job in like a very short amount of time. And the backup singers the backup white kids are Lindsay Smith and Insane Ian. Lindsay's kind of the more prominent vocal of the two of them. Somebody in the Dr. Demento Facebook group commented that they thought that she was the same vocalist, or that she sounded like the vocalist from the song "Here, Fluffy, Where Are You? Where Are You?" And I was like, no, that would be, of course, Lindsay. And obviously, this is a track on the MarsCon 2025 Comedy Music Track Fundraiser Album Free. It's the thing, the fundraiser album, the thing I'm always talking about. It's on that. So I posted this to, hopefully, convince a few more people to buy the stinking thing. So we'll see what happens. The only other thing that comes to mind is that something I wanted to do, but I know that way back in the day. Okay, so the video game Brack refers to Bombad Racing. was basically a Star Wars Mario Kart knockoff, where like it was all the characters from like Star Wars Episode 1, like in sort of, chibi-fied pod racers, racing through like Star Wars themed levels and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so it is.
So Star Wars Bombad Racing was a game, and I actually had it for PS2. And, way back then, I was, during the Luke and Stephanie era, and I can't remember for the life of me what happened to my copy of that game. It might have just been a case of, she kept the PS2, so I just let her keep the game, because I wasn't planning on buying my own PS2 or whatever. So I know at some point I reached out to her saying, like, hey, do you still have the PS2? Do you still have... Because I'm trying to... If I could find my copy of Bombad Racing, it would be so great to, like, walk up to Andy during that part and hold it up like, yeah, you want to play? So, like, I don't want to play Bombad Racing. I mean, what the heck is that? So yeah. And the other thing about this, which you can hear it if you buy the Fundraiser album, the track leading into the song starting, Andy says that he basically has no memory of recording this song. Like he knows that he did it, but it's just a hazy memory to him at all. So I gave him like his script, and I'm just like, you're just complaining about, whatever. So I get the feeling it came back to him on some level because his timing was perfect. It wasn't like 100. It wasn't like super synced up perfect, but he basically ended right when he should have. So for the wide kids to come come back in. But the difficult part or the interesting part was I didn't know if he was going to remember the other little bits he did, like the opening "White Kids Love Hip Hop" that begins the song. Brack actually sang that, and then he also sang it after his rant, which Andy didn't do in either of those, because I guess I didn't make it specific enough in the lyric sheets I gave him, and I was just like, screw it, it's fine, as long as he does the rant, that's the main part. But then also at the very end of the original MC Chris track, he just kind of says, for no reason, like, yo, bullshit, in Brack's voice, and so at the end I was like waiting, I'm like, is he gonna say it, Apparently he's not, so I guess I'll just say it, just because I won't feel like the song ended properly without that in there. But
that was you. I didn't even realize that was you and not him doing that.
Yeah, that was me. Just jumping in at the last second there. So you can, and I put the lyrics up to this. The lyrics to this are up on the lyrics tab at the FuMP. And man, because MC Chris puts a lot of syllables and raps very fast, and even though I was, very familiar with the song as one of my favorite MC Chris songs, it was very hard to train my mouth to attempt to say those words in the right way, in the right everything. So I'm particularly mad at myself, it's like, instead of saying, we drink box wine and we listen to Weezer, I just said, we drink bakwa! It's like, I don't know what I'm saying, bakwa, which is nothing. That isn't a thing. Why are we drinking it? It's not a thing. So... And obviously, I replaced the F word with FuMP because it was Sunday afternoon at MarsCon, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get in trouble. So, yeah. So that's about everything I can think of to say about this song. Do you have any other thoughts or questions for me on it?
I don't have any thoughts because this migraine is violently driving.
Oh, okay. Hooray, you did it. So, let me then shift over and tell everyone the story of me going to see Patton Oswalt and the thing that happened the following day. So, where is my profile? There it is. Profile. Okay. So Kalani and I got tickets to see Patton Oswalt, and we got there super early. We got VIP tickets, which, it's not like it was any big deal. It was like $40 a ticket. So, it's kind of weird, I don't know. To me, when I hear VIP, I think it's at least $100. It's like $40, really? Why? Everyone should be buying VIP if the tickets are only $40 to see Patton Oswalt. What the hell? So anyway, we got there. The show was at 8 p.m. We got there at 6:10, and we were the first people in line in the VIP line. So we basically immediately went up and got like kind of the front row center type of seats. There was a table in between us because of the way the tables are set up, but that's where we were sitting. And I had said to her, I explained to her that he typically about halfway through the show will start going to the front row and start, you know, doing like crowd work and talking to people. So if we sit in the front row, chances are he's going to talk to us. And she said to me, you know, are you going to tell him that you're a comedian? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell him I'm a comedian because that won't help him. Like he's looking to talk to people who do things other than the thing that he does because that's not going to help him in his crowd work. So I told Kalani ahead of time that if he does talk to me, I'm going to tell him I'm an unemployed storyboard artist because that's the truth. And so he starts his show. He's performing a lot of stuff that's going to be in his next special. Some stuff he was trying out for the very first time because he's just trying to get everything honed in. And you know, keeping in mind that also it's a Tuesday afternoon, so it's not like it's big Saturday night, hey, you know, comedy thing. It's like he packed the Irvine Improv on a Tuesday afternoon, and it was just amazing. And so he has this bit that's about AI, which is really great. And just the overall point of it being the fact that all these tech bros are trying to make an argument that it's unfair that people who have artistic skill get to make art and that people who don't have artistic skill don't. You know, like it's not fair. That's why we're inventing AI so that we can still create art without having to actually learn how to do any of that stuff or whatever. And I don't want to I'm not going to spoil his bit because I want y'all to see it when the special comes out. But he did a bit about that whole situation. So, you know, he talks to a couple other women in the front row, and they're both, you know, women who are doing like kind of charity volunteer work or whatever, like for a living. They do really noble things. And, you know, he has a fine little conversation with them, and then he looks over, and like next to them was Kalani, and Kalani was wearing a face mask because she needs to make especially sure that she doesn't get sick in the, you know, weeks leading up to her surgery, because if she gets sick, it's going to screw everything up. So, so she's wearing a mask. So I'm kind of assuming he looked at Kalani, saw that she was wearing a mask, and decided, oh, I'm not going to be able to understand her if she's wearing a mask, so I'll just go right to the other guy right here. And so he pointed at me, and he's like, you know, well, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, first he asked, like, where are you from? Are you from Irvine? And I said, Burbank. He's like, Burbank? I used to live in Burbank. And, you know, and he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I'm an unemployed storyboard artist. And he's like, you're an unemployed storyboard artist. Hey, how'd you like that whole AI chunk there? Was that great? And then he like stopped and like put his hands in his head in the microphone, like as if to say like, oh damn it, I just made this unemployed storyboard artist sit through a whole chunk about AI ruining people's lives, you know. And I was just like, yeah, you know, because I agree with the points he was making. And then he started, you know, asking me some more. It's like, where have you worked? I'm like, well, I worked at Cartoon Network for a few years. And he's like, you worked at Cartoon Network? And then the whole audience went like, woo, like, because they were impressed that I worked at Cartoon Network. So he said like, oh, did you work on We Bare Bears? And I'm like, actually, I worked on a show called Mighty Magiswords. And he's like, we came out between like 2016 to 2018-ish. He's like, Mighty Magiswords, like, what was that about? And I said, well, it's a show about a brother and sister in this medieval land, and they collect these crazy swords that all have different magic powers, and they go on adventures. So basically, it's all about them trying to collect all these different crazy magic swords. And he's like, oh, so is this one of those things where it's like kind of like the merch angle of they're trying to make it so like, the people are collecting the, they're collecting the swords, so the, kids want to collect the swords, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much, yeah. And they asked...
There would have been if they actually made any merch, you know.
I mean, yeah. But then he asked, were you ever in a situation where you were storyboarding something and they said, you need to put this sword, this new thing, into your thing? And I said, actually, yes, because they made an app, a Magiswords app that the kids could have, and they wanted a new sword in every episode so the kids watching it could collect the sword in their app. And he's just like... like he thought that was dumb, and he's like, started doing an impression of like, some random, like he's like, you put the swords in the thing, like, and then he's like, well, what do you think you're gonna do next? And this was also the truth. That morning, I saw at the Disney website that they had posted a new job posting for a storyboard artist position for an unannounced series at Disney Television Animation. So when he was like, "What are you next?" I'm like, "Well, this morning I applied for a storyboard position at Disney Television, so hopefully that'll work out." And he's like, "Oh, Disney, yeah." And then I said, I said to him, because Disney Television, I said, hey, the Ghost and Molly McGee rules. And he's like, Ghost and Molly McGee, yeah, I'm the man on that show. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, good luck, man. I wish you the best, blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of wrapped up the crowd work segment of the show. So, it was a really cool, fun, positive experience. And, on top of the fact that the show was freaking hilarious, and I can't wait for it to come out. So many great new bits in there. So the next day, I've been kind of thinking about it all. I'm like, I don't want to jump on Twitter or whatever right away. I mean, I knew that he was on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky, and I'm like, I'm not, I'll wait until, the next day, and I'll go and I'll say hey to him I'll do a tweet, and I'll just see if I can get his attention, and I'll plug my portfolio website and try not to be too obnoxious about it. So yesterday at 12:19 p.m. Pacific time, I posted, "Hey, at Patton Oswalt, I'm the storyboard artist from your crowd work at the Irvine Improv on February 4th. Thanks for a great show last night. You absolutely crushed it. If you'd like to check out my storyboarding, here's a link to my Animatic portfolio site." And then I posted the link to Luke Dotsky, which of course put the, link and the kind of icon and stuff right there in the tweet showing my storyboard thing. And if you guys haven't been to my storyboard site, when you go there, the main thing up on the main page when you get there is the video of my storyboard reel that if you just click on it, it starts playing. So I posted that, and then, where was it? Let's see. I guess that was pretty quick, because by 12:53 p.m., Patton Oswalt quote tweeted me and said, "What a great crowd last night. Hey everyone, check out this guy's top shelf storyboarding skills and hire him," with "hire him" in all caps. And then the quote tweet of my tweet talked about me being story artist and where my portfolio was. And according to just now looking at it, his tweet got 62.6 thousand views. So,
nice.
That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I should also mention, I did put the same thing up on Instagram and Blue Sky because I didn't know which is the one that he frequents the most, but Twitter is the one he responded to. So, and I know because he mentioned it, and I had heard it on other places, that he's filming his next Netflix special. I'm assuming it's Netflix. His next Netflix special is being filmed at the Comedy Club on State in Madison, Wisconsin, which I've been to before. I've seen, other people perform there. So I responded to his, quote tweet thing of me saying, "Wow, thanks so much for the support, Patton. Let's hope the power of networking works. Can't wait to see the new special. I used to live in Madison and saw Emo Phillips perform at Comedy on State. Wish I could be there. Midwest friends, go get your tickets at MadisonComedy.com." And then I put an image of the thing from their website. So it's I realize that, my meager following like that currently has 401 views. So, not nearly as impressive a following, but still, I felt like I wanted to thank him, and for Turnabout being fair play, let my Midwest friends know he's going to be, he's going to be in Madison, and they should go see the concert if they can. So that was pretty amazing, and I'm just in my mind kind of saying to myself, if this actually leads to me, getting, one of the Disney jobs, that I currently have, under review, there's I guess there's just the one now, the one I applied for the other day, because I had 4 that were in the process of whatever, and then I got the rejection for that 4th one earlier today. So now I just have 1 left, and it's the newest one that I just applied to. So if I get that job, I'm going to view it as Patton blessed me with his magical, Pixar rat powers and got me that position. So I don't know. So anyway, that was the really cool thing that happened to me, and I just told you all about it. So, patent
Cool.
is awesome.
Yeah, let's hope it works out.
So yeah, and since this is the Luke Ski segment, I'll just close by saying, hey, my website is thegreatlukeski.com. I also have my music on Bandcamp and Spotify and iTunes and all the other places and stuff. And so basically, you can follow me on social media. Most of my places are at The Great Luke Ski, except for TikTok, which is at @the_great_Luke_ski. Oh, and speaking of another viral thing that took off, I took the 12 seconds of Brack singing When Doves Cry and put it on TikTok, and it's going pretty darn viral. It's up to like 30,000 views.
Nice.
And I only posted it. When did I post it? Like 9 p.m. on the 3rd. So here it is. Like 3 days later, it's like up to at least 30,000 views. So who knows if that will help me out too. Silly, fun stuff. But yeah, thank you all, everybody. And now back to Devo doing whatever happens next.
Let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback. Alvarant wrote, question for Joe J. Thomas. Was the song title inspired by when Paul Simon went on The Muppet Show? And then there's a link to a YouTube video. And I was going to send this to Joe and get his answer, and then the migraine hit, and I ended up spending the rest of the afternoon resting and trying not to vomit and stuff. So I will forward this to Joe and see if I can get an answer for next week. And
Draconosaurus.
Draconis wrote, first he posted a link to an Instagram reel and said, how many do you agree with? Which was, I believe the reel was like top 5 things Gen X hates, I think is what it was. But anyway, I agreed with all 5. And then he says, also, I left feedback last week. And yeah, I either it came in after I prepped for the show, or I just completely missed it, but my apologies. And then he says, and for the Doctor Who fans, and then there's a link to the Instagram reel of when the cast from Doctor Who sang 500 Miles. And from last week's comment, which I missed, he says, Devo, a couple things. 1, Weird Al will have a concert in Philadelphia, July 19th. And 2, I have Piece by Piece. Text me if you want it. I'm actually going to the Connecticut concert of Weird Al in July, which is at Foxwoods Casino, because it's nearby my, not too far from my parents' beach house. So I'm just going to go visit them and then go to the concert from there. And thanks, but I'll pass on Piece by Piece. I really don't have a whole lot of interest in that film. I may watch it when it shows up on streaming, but otherwise I really don't care.
I think it shows up on one of my streaming services like tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'll catch it then.
Cool. Let me know how it is. All right, over on YouTube, That Lucky Panda wrote, hope things go well with Kalani in the surgery, and huge congrats to Bradley for making it on the FuMP. Also, I'll see y'all at MarsCon. Thank you, Lucas. And Hamner Hack wrote, come to the geek side, join us. I think you guys have a new slogan for FuMPFest t-shirts. Yes, we might. And
A-Log! Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, Luke, here's hoping the breast cancer surgery goes well for Kalani. My mom had that back in 2015, and she made it out great. And in regards to Bradley Lovestar, I see great demented things for him in the future for comedy music. Thank you, A-Log. All right, that's it for feedback. Let's do some teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a jingle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Art Paul Slosher. Woo! And Tuesday's song is by Lauren Mayer. All right, I need a playlist topic for Spotify. Any suggestions? I was thinking of going with cancer. There are a lot of comedy songs about cancer.
Not really, no.
I was going to go with pain, but I can't think of a whole lot about pain either.
Medical procedures.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. There's enough of those. Where the sun, working where the sun don't shine, assuming that's on Spotify.
Teach your baby bass guitar, because that's about giving birth in the hospital. Like a surgeon.
Yes.
Dentistry would probably also fit in there too.
Mm.
And Carla's whole,
Oh yeah. She's got a whole album full of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do a search for Doctor on the FuMP and see what we get. We're going to have a lot of mentions of Dr. Demento and a lot of mentions of Doctor Who. But Doctor by Joe J. Thomas. Which is appropriate since he's not on the show right now because he's off getting a colonoscopy. Denny Brownlee has a colonoscopy song too. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Dr. Fauci. No, that's not a medical procedure. No. All right. I'll find more. That's good. That's a good enough start. All right. So Joe J. Thomas is at joesdump.com. Luke, plug yourself one more time.
Hey, my main comedy music website is thegreatlukeski.com, but you can also find me on social media at thegreatlukeski, most places, and just have mercy on my soul, apparently. and of course, I should one more time give big special thanks to both MC Chris and Andy Merrill for giving me permission to put this track on the FuMP. I'm very psyched. I was really, like last year, I was like saying to myself, it would be so cool if this came out well enough to put it on the FuMP, and indeed that is what happened. So, yeah, very grateful to them. Go follow them on their social medias too.
Indeed. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski. And I'm a cucumber!
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
"Please don't take me to the pickle farm, don't."